Now, the sales and marketing and business development team, they're gonna go in there. They're like, wow, nice. You have a picture of your dad here who founded the company. You have a beautiful logo, wonderful reception. Here we go again. Hello again, PCQI. This is our next segment for our sourcing, which is called the hunt for co-manufacturing or co-packer. Okay, so basically, as a PCQI, the scenario is we have a new co-manufacturer or co-packing partner for our branded product, right? As well as maybe if you are a brand owner and you are outsourcing your processes, in this event, you're going to need a PCQI to keep an eye out on your co-manufacturers and your co-packing partner. All right, so let's kind of go look at this. Now I have some pinpointed, so there's going to be multiple parts. This is it's going to be a series, so just bear with me. We'll consider this as part 1 for now, and let's see how far we can go because I don't want to really make them too long. And I know you are all busy, so here we go. So the first things first on my list here for assessing the hunt for my co-manufacturing co-packer. Obviously, this is my assessment checklist, PCQI, all right? And prepare something like this. And let me just go back here real quick on detection device. So on the metal detector, that's a requirement, right? So I wanted to find out if it's a CCP, a control point, for their HACCP and whatnot. Now, when I'm looking at the metal detector, I'm also looking at what type of calibration, the limits that they have on the challenge of the metal detector for ferrous, non-ferrous, and stainless steel. Okay. Now, also, I want to make sure the reject mechanism is timed appropriately, right? Make sure I want to make sure that works. If you're doing it hourly, every 20 minutes, for the challenge and whatnot. And then also for this is a general detection device. Now, I know some, a lot of co-manufacturing co-partners or co-packers, they don't have X-rays. So if you are going to be working, let's switch my hat on the manufacturing side. Now, the big branded products, I'm not going to name who they are, but you know who they are. They come to your facility. They do require X-rays because they have made a hazard analysis on non-metallic objects such as plastic or gloves and whatnot that get into the product. How is that then assessed? So if you have an X-ray, requirement, obviously I'm going to look at your stainless steel sphere, your soda time glass sphere, and aluminum oxide sphere, representing the porcelain, specific gravity, etc., and your stainless steel wire of any orientation and whatnot. So you're going to have those as well for your, for your requirement. Same thing with the reject mechanism, right? Make sure that works. The barcode scanner that are going to be in place as well for your detection device. Now, some product, they have a barcode scanner that kind of kicks off if it's a no read, incorrect read, and whatnot. Barcode readers on the sellable units, and UPC barcode readers. So to see if you have those on your line. So as the labeled products or the finished products going out, if it's mislabeled, you're not just relying on visual inspection by a QC. It's actually running on the line as a preventive control measure. Okay. And now I put some programs in here. One of them is the environmental monitoring program to see if it's in place. And we wanted to make, to take a really look at the EMP program, if it's robust enough. Minimum is your salmonella and listeria being covered on zone 1 through 4. And approved testing methodology, and of course your laboratory location, depending on how far it is, how long to get the samples sent and get the results back. And the other part of it is on the environmental monitoring program when you're working as a PCQI. I know you're not super concerned on the cost, but as a PCQI, we need to take a look at that budget with our co-manufacturing or co-packing partner at this point. Who pays for those? How much testing are we going to do? Obviously, that's going to be referred to the business side of things. But for us as PCQI, something that sometimes that limits us on what we want to get tested. So we're going to get some pushback. So expect that, okay? So and be open to those suggestions, and also prepare your presentation of why you need more frequency in testing on the environmental monitoring program. The presumptives to be communicated. Obviously, this is our co-manufacturing, co-packing partner. So if there's anything that's presumptive positive into their test, we would like to know as the PCQI, for this process, and how they are immediately investigated, and the CAPA. Now, on the CAPA, you're going to want to have copies of that so you can make your assessment and also perform your risk assessment based on what just happened. And then, of course, negative results, do not mean automatic release. Obviously, there's a hold product, obviously, that you need to take a look at. And on the investigation, we need to have a root cause reporting, as well as the corrective action and preventive actions that are disclosed. If they are just proposed or implemented, we need to find out. Because sometimes you get a CAPA and they have all of these wonderful corrective action, but there's this little tiny checkbox on the top right corner. It says recommendation or proposed. So that doesn't mean it was implemented. So you be careful of how things are written out. So when you're receiving these things, so you gotta really you really got to pay attention. So, all right, I get tongue-tied. And then the other part of it is vector swabbing. So are those being performed as part of that process? Obviously, these type of contaminants, pathogens and whatnot, they jump around because of people moving, material moving, and processes and whatnot. So do they have vector swabbing protocol? Right? And what you look for that PCQI is, I like to see it per equipment. Sometimes people just generalize things, and then something happened, and then the personnel or on the ground or the techs, it's they don't know if they're going left or right. I work with teams that they have everything together, and they just look at me, where do I swab? So those should be written out, especially. Remember, these are your co-manufacturing and co-packers. It affects your brand, right? So because you're sourcing this out. Hygienic zoning and transition zone is the next topic for this hunt. So for us to qualify them, we're going to look at are they a raw and RTE zone? Are they identified? And then you have the transition zone established, right, for the zone integrity. So you need to take a look at those. As well, verification and validation activities, okay, for all the finished products on zone 1 testing. Are you involving salmonella, listeria, or allergen on all finished food that are on level 1 hold? Okay, so as you hunt for these co-manufacturing and co-packing partner, don't just be in awe that they have beautiful paint jobs. You walk in and they have, it's practically a brand new building. They have all of these things. You gotta rip through those layers of onions, right? And ask. As a PCQI, you're asking something different. Now, the sales and marketing and business development team, they're gonna go in there. They're like, wow, nice. You have a picture of your dad here who founded the company. You have a beautiful logo, wonderful reception, conference room. You go in and, doors are opening automatically, and, it's super wonderful. And you're in this wow we land, right? And then the PCQI walks in and start asking questions, and that's when they kind of like, oops, okay, I'm gonna close this out, and you're gonna meet with so and so and so and so, and we might not have it. Okay. All right. Verification and validation, failed verification, or are there food safety events? EMP pattern, again, issues may result protocols, maybe changing frequency on the zone 1 for finished food testing and environmental monitoring. Do you have those type of preventive controls? Like I said in previous videos, if you need assistance, and if I'm speaking too fast and this is going in left to right and it's not biting in, contact me please, info@consultaireinc.com, okay? So we can further assist you in putting these things together for you. Okay, holds, okay? Hold and release protocol, do they have them? All right. So do they have those type of, are they, the hold and release is via testing, lab testing? What are they? So you need to ask for those. And what are the disposition decisions, okay, for those hold and release? What if they don't pass? What do you do? Are they going to rework it, reprocess it? Okay, so you need to have those discovered and discussed. So what do you require on your holds? Do you require, daily inventory if they're on hold? Or if they are taking longer, do you require them weekly holds, or so many days in frequency? You're going to want to ask those, how long do they hold the products? Allergens, right? So obviously that's a big one. So what are the allergen matrix, and are they communicated? Are they using color coding as soon as you walk in? Are all the allergen tagged? What about the equipment that is just used on certain allergens, or utensils and whatnot? And then their SSOP for allergen, their production hierarchy from running allergen and non-allergenic materials, or multiple allergen containing materials. What does that process look like? So as a PCQI, evaluate those. And then all of the cleaning tools that they have, the squeegees, the brooms, and all of that, are those color coded as well? You have to prevent cross contamination. And are they just designated to certain allergens as well? Okay. Part of that on the cleaning and SSOPs, how are they being verified? Are they using allergen testing protocols and allergen testing kits in-house, or are they sending it to a third-party lab for that to be verified or validated that their procedures work? Okay, next topic on this one is evaluating the quality food safety system through notification requirements. Are they, on the presumptive testing results, are you being notified for those? Confirm environmental positives. Are you going to be informed? All right. Out of standards condition and their remediation, are you going to be informed of all of those events? Ingredients on pathogen presumptives or confirmed positive, not just your Listeria and Salmonella, but other pathogens that been discovered through swabbing. Changes to allergen status on the line. So let's say, because this is a co-manufacturer and a co-packer, and let's say your product is soy and wheat allergen, and they now they're adding another branded product that has tree nut declaration on their process. Are you going to know that that's going to affect you as well, because you're sharing the same production line? Recall of ingredients, package materials, or finished products. What does that look like? Do they have protocols for those? Okay. So on this part, not just on recall program, but also on the receiving aspect of that. So when those specifications for raw materials and ingredients and packaging, what are those receiving protocol, right? We talked about those in different videos about maintaining, the allergen, or if it's an RTE, the Listeria requirements and whatnot, or Salmonella. What does that look like on your process? Okay, next step on this one, do they have a corrective action, preventive action programs, CAPA? Okay, so let me kind of read through this and what I look for on that one. For non-conformance and out of standard conditions, their remediation report. Do you see, do you get a copy of that, or do they even have that as part of their CAPA program? Do they have do they document their investigation and applying the corrective actions for their non-conformances? So you need to have, you need to be aware of those. What about the facility leadership? Are they making sure the root causes are identified for non-conformances, and have been effectively implemented or addressed to prevent reoccurrence, right? Do they have procedures to identify root causes, mitigate immediate risk for food safety, and to determine and apply corrective actions, right, or corrections? And also applying preventive actions against nonconformances, against the food safety and quality systems. Obviously, the documented CAPA, right, to demonstrate effective investigation. We saw that. We've discussed that as well. And are they informing, or are they going to inform you, PCQI, if you're the brand owner, right, of all of these CAPA actions that they have, or you're just going to be surprised? Okay. We don't like surprises, don't we, PCQIs? Because we get surprised every day. You walk in the door, you have 20 things you gotta fix right away, and you haven't had your cup of coffee yet. In my case, a cup of tea. Okay. So nonconformities identified, are they fully and effectively rectified and documented? Do you get a copy of that verification, right? Or do you wait during audit to find out? Okay. So you want those CAPA programs, implemented that you have access or notification. The other assessment we have is microbiological management. Okay, so if it's basically on this one, it's a full assessment, especially if it's a new facility. You're coming in and you're gonna give them so much business. They're gonna build, right? They're gonna expand. They're gonna add lines. They're going to add equipment, maybe tear down the wall and expand the building, right? What does that look like for you, PCQI, right? What are those type of hazards that are going to come to that, from that process that's eventually going to get into your product? So you want to be informed of those, okay? So because remember, these are your co-manufacturing, co-packing partner. You want to know because it's going to affect your finished product. Okay, if they are using any other PCR testing on this part, do you get informed on the results for that? Either positive or your pass or fail, right? If they are unfavorable. Then the vector swabbing comes in on this again. So what are your requirements for vector swabbing on the micromanagement side of things? Do you want them to swab certain pathogens that you've identified, that you're working with them on a daily, weekly, or bi-weekly or monthly verification activities? What are those? And identify those vector swabbing area or points. Okay. The other one is the out of standard condition and remediation process of your evaluation. Do you need to be approved, right? As a PCQI, you wear a different hat. You're now on the brand owner side. Do you need to approve those and be more participatory with your co-packer and co-manufacturer? Now, I've worked with brands and this part they want hands off on it, kind of like they're taking the stance of, I'm just a brand and I have no control on the co-manufacturing, co-packing partner. That's their food safety systems. I was trained that way years and years ago. But then when you look at all the recall, all the litigations, brand owner suing their co-manufacturer, and you see it. You can Google these things. I'm not going to name drop who that is. And these are big brand guys, right? So at the end of the day, your stance as PCQI and compliance it affects you. It affects your company. It affects your brand and your risk that you are basically putting out there. So if there's no openness with a co-manufacturer and a co-packing partner, I highly recommend find someone else. Okay, so if they're not going to open their door, to you when it comes to food safety and all of these events, you don't want your brand there. I know you're small or you're just getting started. You don't have that kind of volume. We can talk about a lot of startups that failed because they didn't have these type of protocols, and then they finally get recognized in the market and they're gone. Okay. Because they were afraid to ask. All right, super. So anyway, so going back to that, so what are those look like? Same thing with your micro. So this is hand in hand on your OOS conditions. How are you gonna then manage those? So you need to put those SOPs together. Anyways, let me end it there. I don't want the video to be too long. We'll hit it on part 2 of this series. So we'll end part 1 for now. And thank you again, PCQI, for your viewership. Please share our community. And once again, see you next time. Bye for now. Contact us. And don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Thanks again, PCQIs. Have a good one.